So this is 100% wool carpet. It is over 40 years old. This is the second time that we've cleaned it. This carpet always looks fantastic just after vacuuming it. And so we're using Rug Smack from Truck Mount Farms for the pre-spray, and then Ultimate All Fiber Rinse to extract. As you can see, just the CRB going over it. Even though it's not really that dirty, it's making a big difference. So this is one of those carpets, like, just for maintenance. If somebody was vacuuming it, it looks fantastic if you vacuum your way out of the room, just as if you're doing a professional carpet cleaning and you're cleaning your way out of each room. So it looks extremely nice for when the client comes in and takes a look at the work. You'll notice right away how good it shapes up, and doing that way instead of vacuuming your way in and then walking out. So we're just doing master bedroom area, this hallway, and then did you spray in here? Did Janelle tell you not to do this room?
No, I didn't know I was doing that room.
Okay.
I'll do it. Yes, no baby.
Okay. So one bedroom, or two bedrooms, sorry. We got this one here, hallway, and then the master, of course. And we're just leading up into here. And this is just a hall bathroom. Do this little open section right here.
Sure.
In front of the, I mean, you don't have to move anything else. There's a mat there and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not a, we're not needing to do that area.
Sure.
But
Just clean it up.
yeah.
No problem.
So this is actually at my personal residence. So that's why I'm kind of instructing him exactly what to do. Yeah, this is old carpet, and you will not be able to get this stuff again, I'm sure. It's 40 plus years old. It was put in like 1980. I'm not sure what part of that year it was installed, but yeah, it still looks fantastic after vacuuming it. I mean, there's some areas that look worn a little bit, but otherwise this carpet just turns out so well after cleaning. So yeah, like I said, we're pre-spraying with Rug Smack, specific cleaning agent built just for situations where you're dealing with wool. Works great on other synthetic area rugs as well, but I specifically have it just for dealing with the occasional wool carpets that we get. And then Ultimate All Fiber Rinse is good for dealing with pretty much all fiber types, as it is called, Ultimate All Fiber. But specifically, you want to use it in this case where you're doing with wool, and then when we're dealing with urine jobs, especially cat, doing Ultimate All Fiber after we've done that Unchained product for pet treatments always looks great. So it's a nice multi-purpose rinsing agent, and when the carpet isn't super hammered just from being dirty tracked on, then that stuff works fantastic. But when we get into like really dirty carpets where it's not stained but it's just heavily soiled, then we switch it up to the alkaline neutralizing rinse, and that does the trick for that. So and he'll run the CRB over this to get it all scrubbed up. And then we'll be going from there. So I was just kind of taking this opportunity to do a little video for you guys, since it's a little slow right now, so I'm trying to keep them working as much as we can. So we actually have some of our house cleaning crew here right now taking care of the other areas that we don't need professionally cleaned on the carpets right now. So they're doing half of the house, and then Adam's over here doing another portion of it, because this is my youngest's room, and then the master bedroom for us, because these are the two rooms as far as wool goes outside of the living room where our house cleaning crew's at, that get used the most. So I personally, because I have the means to, basically have our carpets cleaned every 4 to 6 months, because we have pets in the house, and of course 3 kids. So you can imagine when you get into the high traffic amount like that, it's good to up the frequency of your carpet cleaning, so that way you prolong the life of it. You don't allow dirt to get compacted into it so much, because the reason why I like doing that is, if you've ever had an area rug on a hard surface and it's been there for, say, 6 months to a year, when you pick it up, what do you see under it? Little grains of sand all under it. So that's what happens and gets compacted underneath your carpeting. And so if it's getting in there over a long period of time, what you have to deal with now, the professional cleaner has to deal with, is possibilities of resoiling. So if they're not using the right chemistry, extracting really well the carpet, some of that stuff from beneath the rug that's between the padding or even beneath the padding can cause issues if you let it go for too long. So it's always a good idea to consider having your carpets professionally cleaned at least once a year. And then if you have a lot of traffic, multiple adults in the house or kids, pets, you should probably consider the frequency of up to, or as little as, 6 months between each job. And then regular vacuuming makes a huge difference. Now, if you can manage to, if you have a lot of traffic in the house, vacuum daily or every other day. I know that seems like a lot, but that will keep a lot of the dirt out of your rug and from getting compacted in there, causing future issues. And you think about it, you know, little grains of sand that we track in and then walk on the carpet back and forth kind of acts like sandpaper, and that's what's breaking down your carpet fibers, causing carpet blooming, showing wear patterns more so, and then you know, it wears out a lot quicker, so you have to worry about those things. So if you want to be on top of your carpet, vacuum every other day at least. If there's a lot of traffic in the house, ideally that would be the best, at least every other day. And then every 6 months if it's heavily trafficked. If it's just a couple adults, no pets, you know, once a year would be great to consider, because you also got to take into account, in my area it is very dusty area. I'm by orchards. We have lots of farming area around the sections of the California that we service, so we have tons of dust. Just even the dust settling every time we open the door and let it in. You know, even if you never walked on a room and it's open, you know, the heating and AC, like so right here's our return, and then all of our vents are on the floor, but it doesn't matter if it's on the floor or on the ceiling. Whenever you use your AC and your vents, stuff gets through and it eventually cycles it around the house. And so that's why a room that may never get used, for example, if this was never used and the door was always shut, not only would you see a black strip at the line right here, because this is where the air would go through from the door line, is right at the bottom here. So you get a black line right here. It's called filtration soil and can eventually be damaged. And then That's why you find dust in a room that never gets used, as it gets cycled around the house through the AC, or just coming in the door and settling eventually. So those are the things that I look out for and that we suggest based on how much traffic is in the home. So always take that into account. I'm not saying everybody needs the carpet done every 6 months, but if you have a lot of traffic, then and you want to keep it up the best you can, then every 6 months would be ideal. And then for the rest of everybody, around a year. So I know what you guys are thinking. Carpet around the toilet? Yeah, I agree. It's coming out as soon as I can take it out. But this is 100% wool carpet. So when we have the opportunity to put in some hard surface, we're gonna change this out, in at least this hall area leading up to that. But we're waiting because we have some things that we might do to expand on the house, so it's kind of makes no sense to take out a carpet when the floor plan over here might change a little bit. So that's why the original carpet is still in here. Otherwise I would have ripped it out. But like I've been saying, this carpet cleans up so well and looks super nice that it's, even though it's kind of tough to push through, it's awesome to see when it's done. So with wool carpet, naturally this stuff takes longer to dry, so what we do, especially even in the winter time, such as this point that it is right now, is use a fan. So like with each room that you finish, you put a fan on it and blow air into it. Helps with the drying process quite a bit. And depending on what type of machine that is being ran will also determine how fast it dries, and then of course, did you do dry passes or not? Now, even though we have pretty strong machines, we do dry passes always, and don't skip out on those because we're so in the habit of doing it to get the carpet as dry as you can. But even if you have a super strong machine that can leave carpets fairly dry, even with only needing to go over it once, that it's still good practice to give yourself some dry passes. So, always, if you're a cleaner or starting out, always do dry passes. Just make it part of your deal, no matter what, and your carpets will dry out really well. You shouldn't have issues with people complaining that they're wet for a long period of time. And then a good rule of thumb, the thicker the carpet, the higher the pressure you want to use. So if you got like Berber carpet, you can drop your PSI down to say like 300, depending on the wand you're using. If you got really dense carpet, depending on the wand you're using, again, you can do around 450, 500. And keep in mind when you're running your solution line, this skinnier one here, if you're running a long line, you're going to lose some pressure by the time it gets to the wand. So, for example, this line right now is about 260 feet long. So, if Adam has got his pressure at 500, he may only be actually working at around 450. So that's something to keep in mind too. So if you're like, I want it at 500, if you're running a long amount of line, by the time it gets to the wand, it's not at 500. It's a little bit less. So again, always dry stroke. Get the carpet as dry as you can. Especially in winter, cold climates, throw a fan on the room when you're done with it to dry it out as fast as you can. Because if you can leave their carpet near dry to the touch by the time you leave, people are going to love that. And then also, if it's anything in your area like it is in mine, where people are afraid to get their carpets clean in the winter because of dry times, you can be the one to set that standard and keep it drying out really fast. Because if you use fans in each room and do your dry passes, you can expect, in some situations, depending on your machine again, to get as little as maybe 2 hours, 3 hours for your dry time. Whereas a lot of people in my area are used to hearing carpet cleaners say like 8 hours to 24 hours. And personally, a full day is quite a bit. You should be able to get it down to at least 6 or 7 hours. And then with a fan, probably even less. Maybe even an hour or two, depending on the carpet. So it's things to consider if you're a cleaner, or if you're looking for a cleaner. Ask them if they use fans to dry it out. But we have hot summers that are humid, so there's a lot of times where I finish cleaning the carpet, no fan at all, and sometimes the first 2 rooms that I started on are almost dry to the touch. Like, I can't even get moisture on my hand by the time I leave. So we were just actually going over that today, Adam and I. That's why I'm bringing that up. During our winter months or colder times, basically October to probably mid-March, that you just want to set a blower in each door line and let it do its thing.